Alrighty, scary people, welcome back to Into the Fear. I am your host, Chainsaw Sammy, and we are on part 3 of Hell Yeah, It's Halloween 2025. Joining me tonight are 3 incredible haunt owners. I have Ricky Dick, owner of Castle Blood in Pennsylvania. I have Troy Flesik, owner of Crawford School of Terror, and welcoming back Vic, owner of Blood Prison in Mansfield, Ohio. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. This is part 3 of our Halloween episode. It's so big that I had to spread it into 3 parts before October kicks off. And yes, we are 31 days of today till Halloween night. I mean, excited, aren't you guys? I mean, I know you guys are tired, but hey, it's on season.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't always actually look forward to Halloween night. Halloween night means it's almost over.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then it's just sad again.
I mean, Halloween never ends truly for us. Am I right? It just means
yeah, for sure.
It's ended for never over. Yeah, it's never over. It's ended for that season, but that means now we prepare tomorrow for the next season.
That is very true.
Yeah, doing that already.
Hey, always be prepared. Be ready for the next year. Always be ahead. Always doing the next big thing, you know. Anyway, so this weekend for 2 of you, this weekend is Terror Tours, Pittsburgh. So we'll be hitting up Castle Blood Friday, and then Crawford on, I believe, Saturday, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
So, I mean, are you guys excited? You're going to have a bunch of goofy, you're going to have this bus pull up with all of our goofy Halloween enthusiasts, you know, home haunters / pro haunters coming on and hanging out with you guys and your crew and seeing you guys in action.
No, very excited. My crew's been totally spazzy about it ever since Troy signed us up.
We're definitely excited.
Troy's giving me a little bit of the rundown, Ricky, with Castle Blood. You guys are very theatrical and scripted. Am I correct?
Yep, we are. It's a full written out script. It's about an hour walkthrough in a 125-year-old funeral parlor and the surrounding grounds a little bit. And yeah, you kind of work your way through. We were in an escape room before that was ever a word back in 1990. We started in 93. In 1996, we added the game to it. We codified the game, actually. We were started by a bunch of variety artists, clowns, magicians, jugglers, that kind of thing. And it started as a party and trick-or-treat yard haunt. So everything was a little on the theatrical side, and you know, the magicians in our midst would produce the candy for the kids, you know, that kind of stuff. And once we went pro, we just codified all of that into a story. And a story, if you were really paying attention, and some of our fans have, the story's kind of continued for, well, this will be 33 years now.
Damn.
Yep. I just turned the big 33 myself last Monday. Now I feel no different. I wound up being sick with a head cold, so kind of sucked. But my birthday fell on a Monday this year, so I had nothing planned. The past couple of years, it fell on a weekend, so I actually planned things. This year, it was like, oh, it's not a milestone birthday. I'll celebrate it during haunt season. But congratulations, you know, once you hit that 30-year mark, next year is the 40 mark for haunt.
Yeah, and that's a little crazy, huh? I just need to make sure I'm around for all of those big numbers. That's all.
We got you. All right. So tell me about your crew. So first off, tell me about yourself here.
That guy.
So
how'd you
come up with this character?
When we first started the castle, we were vampire characters, more hardcore heavy metal, you know, leftover from the 80s kind of vampires. that we had done for a cosplayish competition. But it was cool for the first year when we did it, but they were really uncomfortable presentation stage costumes. You couldn't really perform in them all night. So we wanted something a little more comfortable. And that was the year that the first Addams Family movie came out. And we thought, well, geez, it'd be cool to not try and be the Addams Family, because everybody tries to do that for Halloween fun at one point or another. But if you remember the big ballroom scenes and stuff like that in the movie, we're like, gee, they have like 1 million relatives and 1 million cousins, all that are weird and have different weird names like that. Why don't we just make up our own branch of the family and kind of be Addams-ish adjacent, really, And that's kind of what we did. We decided to be the Scottish side of the Addamses. So we went like with the macabre name, but we did the Scottish spelling with the MAC and then large C kind of thing, which gets everybody confused. So it's misspelled all the time in the press, but whatever. And yeah, we just kind of took off from there, and made it so that kind of like how the Wednesday show is. All the outcasts of the world, if they need a safe haven, they come and live at the castle. So we have werewolves and witches and banshees and all that kind of stuff here. And the story goes that everybody is here, and we make believe we're a haunted attraction to make a couple of bucks now and then. It also gives us cover that the locals is those theatrical people, so.
All right, on to your next cast member.
That is one of our pirate captains that runs the ticket booth, because who better to keep track of the money than the pirates, right?
Yes.
That's Dr. Belfry. Yes, Dr. Belfry. He plays my nephew. Even though the older we get, the more the more grayish we both are. Speaking of the clowns and stuff that started, he's actually a Ringling Brothers Clown College graduate. So he's got some real bona fides when it comes to all the stuff we do. Because we still do a lot of magic. We do a lot of kid shows. We do all kinds of stuff.
Awesome.
And Phoebe, she's towards the end. Since it is a game working the way through the castle, somebody has to be there at the end to judge you. I mean, really, we're all judging you all the way through, but that's different. You actually have to be judged and checked out how you did. Hey, there's somebody that's as old as you, because she gives me grief all the time that she's as old as the castle. So that is Morgana. She was a fairly well-known local cosplayer when we got her, and always nice when you find people that have the skills. That obviously she can't wear costumes that are from something like you do in a lot of cosplay conventions, but she had all the skills to make her own stuff. So that's a huge plus for us.
Yes.
Professor Ezra, our time-traveling, crotchety old guy that's here for we don't know why he puts up with us. You'll probably see him close to up front when you start your tour. Boris, you will definitely see out front, and Professor Scry there. Professor Scry will be meeting the bus and making sure everybody's organized and that when you come on Friday. He's also our magic director for the show. So he is I come up with the crazy ass idea of, wouldn't it be cool if we could do this or that or this? And, as if it was actual magic that we could just make things happen. And it's his job to figure out how we can actually do that. Yep, that's still Boris. Odette. Odette is a part-timer here with us. She's one of the local Pittsburgh cosplay crowd. Always very active up at Teco, the big cosplay convention here. Her dad works with us as well. He's here all the time. It's probably one of your future pictures. He's handsome, isn't he? The coolest thing about him, he's not local to us. We only have him down once in a while. He lives in one of them big fancy houses on Salem Common. Like he walks out his front door. He walks out his front door, and you see the Jacob Marley schoolhouse from the Hocus Pocus movie.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty crazy, but yep. And that's that's Rancor, one of our monsters in the basement, coming out to say hi.
Why you guys got him locked in the basement for?
You haven't seen him eat.
Oh, he's got no table manners.
Yeah, that's Madam Italia, one of our fortune tellers. She's also our performance director here. She's been with, this will be her 30th year with me.
Awesome. That's great to have employees that have stayed with you from the beginning, from the earliest years. That's awesome.
We have, I'm very lucky. We have, this year's the first, I'm the only one that's been here all 33. We have 2 that are getting their 30-year patches this year. And then in 2 years, we have another 4 or 5 that are getting their 25 years. Oh, they'll get their 30s. And then we have another 4 or 5 that are getting their 25s. That's my darling wife, Hexabart, who lives out in Crowhaven when we're open. Anatoly, one of the household staff, who usually sneaks away from his post and works in the lab a bunch. So we do have household staff that they have uniforms and all like that. They're in the Castle Blood colors. Claude, awesome. Claude, our one of our resident werewolves. Madam Nightshade. We were very lucky to get her. She's a longtime Ren Fair performer locally and always came through as a customer. And finally, after about 10 years of knowing her, about, I guess, 5 years ago now, we got her to jump over the rope and actually be part of the crew. She's really, really awesome.
Awesome.
Azriel, she's our librarian. Anna Laura, she's one of the fortune tellers as well. She plays a couple different characters, so she may be in different costumes now and then. And that is Gulia out in the cornfield on the way up to Crowhaven, where Hexabart is. Phineas, again, one of our butlers. We have all types of creatures. Anybody can be part of the household staff, really. You don't have to be, a vampire or whatever. So we've had werewolf butlers and crazy demon butlers and stuff like that. Yeah, so the one you haven't seen yet, that's Loomis. That was Odette's dad, who's here all the time. He's one of the big major construction builders with me, along with Dr. Belfry and a few others, Anatoly. Your friendly household staff.
You have a great cast.
Yeah, we do. I am very, very lucky. I'm telling, that's, as much as we love entertaining the people, we really have a good cast, and I really just love coming together. Oddly enough, in that group of pictures, there's not even pictures of my family. I don't have a huge family, but there are some weekends, because they're scattered all over the country, that every single person I'm related to is here performing the same night. So
I like that.
My daughter, my granddaughters, my sister, her daughter, her granddaughters, spouses.
Wow.
All of that, yeah. And even like some of our friends, we grew up in New Jersey. Some of our friends, even from back in junior high and high school, which, for me, that was a long time ago. They come out and perform with us still too.
That's amazing. I'm the current black sheep of the family. Now, my mom loves visiting haunted houses. Like, she's the one that wants to walk through haunted houses and see them. She'll travel all over the country with me when she can. But she's not a haunter. She has no interest in dressing up or building, helping me with props or costumes, anything like that. But she loves going to haunted houses. But the rest of the family, they're both fascinated, but at the same time, they think I'm weird.
Those two things can
be
true.
Perfect. I don't care. I'm fine with it. I'm like, good. It's my hobby, and I don't have to worry about nobody else copying me. So I am 110% okay with that. But that's awesome. You got the whole family involved. I actually envy that a little bit. All right, so let's see some scenes.
Some scenes.
So what room is this?
That's my character's office, Gravely's office. I don't usually perform in there as much as I used to. I'm usually out in the gift shop. So, especially for Terror Tours, that means I'm not stuck in a scene. You guys can actually hang out with me, and I get to meet everybody. The trophy room, which is what we call it, but its actual name is the Museum of Crypto Spookology. So it's our oddities room. That's where Madam Nightshade is. She's the curator of everything. Professor Ezra and Professor Scry comb the world to find all the weird stuff, and she's in charge of making some sense of it as a display.
Yes. All these scenes that I'm seeing are just so old school horror, gothic, the stuff that I grew up with versus what haunted houses are today. And obviously, the more this episode goes on, the more we talk about more into like what modern haunted houses are to attract the younger generation. But this, I love it that it feels like you're coming back from the early, like the 1940s, when horror was becoming a thing during World War II, for people to, escape the reality of the war going on. And horror movies were starting to become a big thing in cinema. That's what I get a vibe. Like this feels like something directly out of those old Universal monster movies. Like you said, you based off of like the Addams Family.
Correct. This kind of attraction didn't really exist back then. So it's kind of like we try to give you the Halloween you think or you wish you remembered. If that makes sense. It's like in your head, that's what you might have dreamed Halloween was like. I mean, even though, there weren't haunted attractions like this in the 40s, 50s, But that's, that's definitely our inspiration. Everything from Universal up to the Hammer films in the 60s.
Yep. Yeah, definitely love it. So you started the haunt 33 years ago. Was that your plan, was to go for as long as you are now?
No.
Like, what was like the big plans when you first started out? It was just
when
for
we
fun?
first did the vampires, we had obviously dressed up in some of our like fanish cosplayish costumes, danced through the door before. But we dressed up as the vampires because we had them from those competitions. And the response was, even just for a little yard haunt with barely any decorations, but world-class costumes, was big. Because even if people were decorating in the early 90s, they weren't doing like full crazy characters yet. So we were already getting in the newspaper and everything, and we were open 2 hours a year. But we didn't plan on doing it again. The plan for the next year was to turn the front of the house into a Klingon battle station, and we were going to do that because we're all nerds here, But it was taken so well. I'm like, geez, I think this, because that's why it's Castle Blood, because it's owned by vampires, right? So, it just went so well. We're like, I think we need to just stick to the horror thing, straight horror, and not do the fantasy and not do the sci-fi so much like we used to. So it was never a plan. The little town we started in had 500 people. And in the third year, by the third year, we were getting over 500 trick-or-treaters. So we were on a busy road, on a state road. One thing about the castle, out of 33 years, 31 of those years has actually been in a house, been in at least 100-year-old building where people actually lived. So I tell people, we're just glorified home hunters, leave us alone, whatever. But they were all, luckily, they were all also zoned commercial. So when we decided to start charging, when we decided to go like that, we didn't have any problems. So is that anything like, so I never planned this. The public's response dragged us along to where we are today. The thing that we keep doing the show we want to do. That I'm not saying that to be snotty. We're because we're all volunteer, because we are a theater group, we write the shows that we would like to see that nobody else is doing. Because when we started, Pittsburgh was all George Romero and Tom Savini. And every haunt was exactly like that. So why should we be the 12th one that's like that? That's just dumb. That's just not a good business model. If you got to be the first to do it or the best to do it. So I go the first to do it. So that's why we changed up and did what we do. So we do the show we like to do, and we pray every day that enough people like it that they come see it, so we can keep the lights turned on and do another show.
Well, awesome. And I'm glad that we're going to be one of the first groups to go through for your guys' opening weekend for 2025. So very excited. All right. So we'll move on to our next guest, Troy. Now, it is a little hard because I'm used to talking about Texas Troy, and now I'm talking to Pennsylvania Troy.
Yes.
All right, so with Crawford, now, am I correct? This used to be an actual schoolhouse?
Yes, it was.
How much square feet is that building? I mean, it's a monster.
It is 21,000 square feet. Now, the haunt is not all 21,000 because we have our coffee shop in it, and we have like our actor room and everything. So it's not entirely the whole building, but it is most of it.
Awesome. So how'd you get started in the industry?
That is a long. We used to do. It started with my wife actually, and they had Halloween parties all the time. And right before we got married, we started doing them at her brother's house. Right, actually, after we got married. I'm trying to think, it's been a long time, and we would decorate, we'd build props, and people would start asking us, well, why don't you charge for the party? We're like, we're not going to charge for a party. If we ever charge, it's going to be a real haunted attraction. So one day, the brother tells her that this building's for sale. Now, we had young kids, and we're like, okay, what building? We can't do this now. He's like, let's go look at it. I got an appointment. We went and looked at it, and he had all the collateral in the world to buy stuff. So he's like, oh, you guys just sign. We're going to buy this. And we're like, okay. So bought the building in 2008 and did nothing with it right away because we're like, well, we have yard props. We have like little things here and there. We can't possibly fill this whole thing for a real haunted attraction. We started doing rentals in it. My wife moved her nail salon in. And about 2013, we're starting to think, like, are we doing this? Are we going to do this or not? So that's when I went and got my inspection license, and when I met Ricky and started to build. We didn't get anything ready till 2016. 2014, I started cutting walls through. There was a lot to do. I mean, it is a big fireproof building. It had 3 brick thick walls going through everywhere we had to take out and just to make a walkthrough, and that's not even a supporting wall. It was a lot of work just to get it to be able to walk through it. So that's the beginning of that story. First year we opened, all the rooms were ginormous. All the sets were just big rooms. It looked empty, and all of that is on YouTube somewhere. And we look back on it and we're like, wow, that's just crazy that people came and paid for this. But we did it on our own. We built everything, just no crew. Me and my wife and my son did everything the first year, and on from there, just kept on going, and just, I don't know.
Is it actually haunted?
10th season, so oh yeah, it's definitely haunted.
Any fun stories?
We had at one time a daycare that rented from us, and they would tell us stories all the time about toys with no batteries making noise, people knocking on the door and yelling like yoo-hoo, and nobody's in there. I've heard people in the hallway in the middle of the night work while I'm working on the haunt. I had a weird experience one time. I went to open our doors up top on the second floor, and I got this real like cold burst of air through it when there was nothing open. It was just I opened it up. I'm like, okay. I've had audio problems. There was one room where I could not keep an MP3 player from breaking. That room would just every night we would have to replace it to where one of the kids just had to play music on their phone until we got like our other audio stuff in there. Let's see. What else do we have? Just a lot of like strange noises in the middle of the night and where nobody was there and just creepy. I can walk. We've stayed there overnight. I've had a couple of my nephews tried to stay over and they left in the middle of the night. They couldn't deal with it. They're like, nope, not doing it. I'm so used to it now. Like if I hear anything, I'm like, just come back when we're open. Out. We've had a couple of people come through to do like tours, but they would do it after the haunt, and a bunch of people would be already through it, and I felt like that energy wasn't there because there were so many people there that night. They'd have to do it on a night where it was a lot calmer. Because when we did reading, or they would do ghost tours or try to like find stuff, it would happen more on a night when nobody was going through. Like they just disappeared. They didn't want to deal with real people all the time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's definitely there's some hauntedness going on there.
Just those old buildings.
Yeah.
But they're built to last. Like from what I see in the building, I mean it's all brick, correct? Brick and the stone there in the middle in the archway. See those buildings? I love those old buildings. We have tons of them here in St. Louis where I'm located.
Yeah, we've been keeping up too. We've had like our masonry, brick repair and stuff, and make sure the parapet walls are. I did have one side kind of fall in on the top, then I had the other side stabilized so it wouldn't do that. Water, ice, that stuff just damages brick. So I've had a lot of repointing and repair just to keep it going. It's over 100-year-old building, so got to keep it good.
Yep. How many actors and staff do you have?
Well, that depends on what we.
Who do I hear in the background?
I'm going to tell you, this year we've had more people reaching out to work, and we've had more actors than we've ever had. And we keep getting people coming. Hey, you're still hiring? You're still hiring? Now, go back to last year, we had to spread people around, and I had to act a lot just to make up for space. But now we have to create spaces for people to like act. We have coming up this weekend. We have people. There's more people coming this weekend than we had last weekend, and it was overfilled. Yeah. But you can't turn people down because there's going to be that point where you know somebody's going to get sick. You can't overhire.
People are going to start falling back and stuff.
Yeah. And I thought that was going to happen. We keep getting messages like, "Oh, here it is. Hey, can my friend come?" It's not, "Hey, I can't do it this weekend." No, it's, we have more people coming. I'm like, wow. It's not, I'm quitting or I can't make it. It's, hey, we have more people. I'm not used to it. We're just, it's crazy. It's not a bad problem to have.
No. And funny you should say that. So I just got back from Chicago and I was up there with a couple haunts. All 5 attractions that I visited, I'm sitting there talking to the owners and the management staff. They all said the same thing. They're like, we overhired, which when you run a haunted house, when I ran haunted houses here in St. Louis, I did the same thing. I would overhire, but it'd be like 5 or 10 people actor-wise. That would be about 5 or 10 people. So which ones I will have fall out, I have enough to replace. So my set, the haunt is staffed. But no, this year everybody's talking about their 50 to 100. And I'm like, 2025 is a comeback year because, I mean, that's wild hearing the numbers. And I'm not exaggerating either. It was at those numbers. And I'm like, that's insane. Count your blessings. and they were expecting, tons of them to fall out, and they're like, nobody's fallen out yet. And I'm like, it is only opening weekend. It is opening weekend,
Yeah.
but count these blessings, because I guess 2025 is the year that people want to come back. They want to work. They're falling in love with it. I mean, the new generation, I guess they want to work and they want to do this, because past couple of years, I've just noticed, just from my own experience and talking with owners and management staff, that it's hard to keep people working because all of your good people are getting older. They're starting families and careers, having kids. And it is hard to balance your personal life and work life with haunt life, because it's a third party. It's a whole separate thing.
Yeah,
So totally get that. But this year I've been hearing a lot of haunts are starting to get more and more staff, and they're kind of like, man, I'm overstaffed. What am I going to do? Vic, how about you? How are you guys doing down there at Blood Prison?
Good. It's going well. We just opened this last weekend, and it was pretty successful. So far we're pretty happy.
Yeah. Do you? So the question for you, like, did you have that same happen to you too, where you're kind of overstaffed than what you normally are?
Yeah, the last couple of years have been pretty much like that. This year, not as much as last year. Last year we started with let me put it this way. We went into our rehearsal with about 150, which we knew that wasn't going to be that way all year. But again, like you guys said, we we hired more on purpose, and just kept hiring. We got to about, it might have been a little over 150. We're like, all right, I think we're good. By rehearsal night, we were down to about 140. So we had a rehearsal, and then by the next day, we were down 10. By the time we opened, we were at about 100, 120, maybe 125. And then we ended the season with about a little over 90, like 92 or 93, which is, even in the building I'm in, is we can, we run pretty comfortably with that.
I would have never known. I would have thought you had 200 some actors in there, because your actors are just everywhere. They're monsters in there. They're crazy.
Yeah, they come in and they're really excited. They get excited when they see the building, and they, you know what I mean. They tap into that other gear. Let's just put it that way. By October, the end of October, they're pretty tired, but yeah, they're just, super excited, and they're all into the paranormal for the most part. And so that helps, you know what I mean? Because the building's known to be very paranormal. So it kind of works for us.
I mean, speaking of the building, I mean, out of everybody here, you have the, the prison, and that itself looks like a castle. It's a fortress.
Yeah, it is. It's,
and
I mean, it's venue wise, it's one of the harder ones to beat, I think. I got lucky when I was able to, get the contract for this event. But it's, who wouldn't want to do something there? You know what I mean? Shawshank Redemption was shot there. Parts of Air Force One, a lot of movie cred with the with the reformatory. So it's a no brainer.
I mean, you have your other big event there, Incarnation, which is the big metal and rock fest.
Mm-hmm.
I
Incarceration.
Mean, what a perfect fit. Yeah, Incarceration.
Yeah. It's fun. Inc. is that is one, I mean, aside from our event, because we love what we do, but the crew gets really jacked up when I say, okay, we hit about April, and then we do our signups for Inc. because we open as a part of the show. So you can, obviously we're not going to compete with, the giant metal bands that go there. But we run from noon to 5, and my crew's it's volunteer. We just call for volunteers because they all want to be there. They get into Inc. for free. Plus we get artists that come through the attraction that are into it and love it. And it's good for marketing. You know what I mean? Win-win situation.
Yeah. So the haunt itself, how much of square foot does it take up from the building?
The haunt, Well, the building is like, I don't know. The building's 250,000 square feet. If memory serves me correctly, we're probably at like, I don't know, maybe 150,000. I mean, it's, we get both of the big cell blocks, solitary confinement. There's different levels. So it's like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? It's like, they're just huge. It's giant, wide open areas. And the trick on that, though, is like the big cell blocks you see in the pictures on either side of that center part. We got to tear that down every year. So like we fill that up and then we tear it down and load everything in Connex boxes. And there's 2 areas we get to leave up all year and we can do tweaking on. But yeah, it's, so that's, but you don't go up on the tiers or anything. We're all down on the ground floor. So it's not like we're like through every nook and cranny in the building or anything. But I mean, it's still, it's quite a feat to put everything into the buildings that we do and then tear it all down and cover it with actors and, different scene sets, animatronics. It's interesting. I honestly, sometimes I'm just amazed that we get it done every year, but we do. We've been doing it for a hot minute.
Yep. When you told me that last year when you came on to the episode telling me that you guys tore everything down, I said, there's no effing way. There's no effing way you tear all that down and then put it back up the following year and then also still build and add more stuff. I'm like, I will never complain about tear down of any haunted attraction ever again. Kudos to your crew because that's amazing because it looks like everything's been there.
Yeah. Now we do hire in for 1 week. On the build, we hire in extra crew. Actually, it's crew guys from Inc. that come in and help us out for 1 week. We hire them for 5 days. We have 3.5 weeks to do it because we can't start until after Labor Day. It's usually like September 2nd or 3rd. So we have about 3.5 weeks to get it all done. And but teardown is all us. And it's the guys, we get a break at Christmas because we do a Christmas event too, where we make now we don't do the cell blocks. We can't do anything in there. We just do the rest of the building. But that's it. Christmas incarceration. But it's like after that show, we tear that show down and then the guys get, 2 weeks off at the end of December, which, they're pretty thankful for because it's a brutal year. I mean, we've grown the event to the point where it's like there's no real downtime. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but God, 3 weeks to do all that? That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We end up on after the first week, it's 10. Well, we start at 10 hours and then we usually jump to 12 and then weekends. The last 2 weeks we don't get a day off until we had a day off Monday. The day after we opened, not the day after, the following after the weekend. That was the first day off in about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Wow, that's insane that you put all that up within that short period of time. So I thought you guys started a little bit earlier around the normal build time for most haunts, but no, like you guys are not building during the middle of the summer. You guys don't get started till frickin' September. Like that's insane.
Well, we pre-build. So like if we're gonna put something in the west cell block, like we did this year, we added at the end of the west cell block, we added we always get people talking to us about how you don't really go in the cells. Because the haunt route, I mean, there's cells. There's no way, you can't go in and then historic buildings out and bust the walls out between cells. You know what I mean? It'd be cool if we could. But we always hear that, well, we never get to go into cells. So we built this giant 3-tier facade at the end and, modeled it after the west cell block and we built cells. So now you go through, I think it's 3 cells and a guard shack. And then there's a tunnel, like we've made this, rock tunnel that you escape out. So it's basically a prison escape scene, and then it goes into a prison riot. So we did that. So we were like, well, kind of what the people want, we give them, and we added the cells, and it's really cool. It's a good scene. People are digging it.
Freaking awesome. I loved the tanks that you guys had. Those were cool.
Yeah. Yeah, the one we built and made ourselves. The other one, you probably, if you were at Trans World, like, I don't know, God, it's probably been 8 or 9 years ago. Brutal Rust had this big display with a tank busting out of the wall. Well, we
Yeah.
bought that. We bought that from them, and now we have their tank busting through our wall, and just set it up. It's already painted, came pre-done, so it was like, yeah, why not? Because I think the Haunted Catacombs up in Buffalo bought it, and then we bought it from them.
That's awesome. So let's get into the icons of Blood Prison. So the warden and her guards.
Yeah, Warden's Widow and her guards. Yeah, they're on a lot of the merch, and sometimes they're on the big billboards. And yeah, it's funny how she's really become kind of a sensation in the haunted house world, I guess, if you want to call it that. Especially on TikTok. She's everywhere on there, and she's really nice, real humble person, and very helpful. She likes to help out haunt actors, and she does makeups. She does phenomenal makeup. And she's all about it. She lives the life. She loves the life. And it just shows with her following.
Yes. She's amazing, humble. She does incredible makeup. And yes, everyone, she is very tall. She is taller than her guards. A lot of people think she's like on stilts or got super high heels on. I'm like, no, she's wearing flats. Like, she's very tall.
She's 6'7", which I think is funny. I give her so much shit now because of the whole 6'7" craze. I don't know if you know about that or not, but there's this craze with the kids on social media that references some meme, and they just yell 6'7", and I'm like, it's got something to do with you, and she just gets totally annoyed with me whenever I bring it up. But yeah, she's tall, and it's always fun to go out because even when she's not in makeup, like we went to Sonic Temple, which is another music fest in Ohio, down in Columbus. And because it's the same people that run Incarceration, so they always like hook us up with really good tickets and everything. And we go down there, and like it's almost like we can't walk 10 feet without getting stopped, and people want to take a photo with her because they know who she is. And I mean, it's kind of weird, but she's really cool about it. But me and her boyfriend are just like, come on, man, let's go. Okay, yeah, sure, I'll take the picture. But it's it's kind of funny.
All right, so gentlemen, so these are your open dates from September 26th all the way to November 2nd.
Yeah, we're just Friday. Well, we're doing 2 Thursdays this year, but yeah, that's one of our newer pictures. The guard's got the mask on. He changed his look up a little bit, but I mean, it's November 2nd, which is a Sunday. It's after leap year, the season seemed to have. We can add some extra days, so that's been kind of cool. But
gotta love the leap year.
Yeah, I mean, it really, like the one year we're like, oh man, we're gonna run like 21 days. So we, and then when it kind of started going away a little bit, we're like, well, let's do Thursdays because we used to do like the opening weekend was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we ran Thursday through Sunday the rest of the season, and then we nixed all the Thursdays. But then we ran Halloween last year, which was a Thursday. We're like, we got to open for Halloween. And it was actually really good. Like it went over pretty well. And it was like, oh shit, all right, let's open a couple other Thursdays. And so we're opening a few Thursdays as well. So good season. It's going to be a good season, I think.
Well, you got me Halloween and November 1st.
Yeah, can't wait for that. You come out before with the who was it? The circus guys.
Yeah, Dead City. I was with them last year.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not with us this year. I think they're at Woods of Terror pretty much the whole season. But he's been messaging me going, dude, I want to come back. We gotta find a weekend next year. So we're trying to work it out. We'll see what happens.
If not, I think they need to come out for Incarceration.
Oh yeah, he's always hitting me up for that.
Because I mean
every year.
I mean, I know there's already so much going on, but you know what? Why not? Why not also add a freak show into there too? People walking on glass, the fire performances, sword swallowing, um, stitches shoving, um, what is it called? Lobotomy tools up his nose.
Ooh, yeah,
Why not?
yeah. They
While
did
people are
that.
getting tattooed.
They did that one year. Like the very first year was incarceration. Maybe the second. It was the first, second year. They did a freak show that brought this giant tent called Hell's a Poppin'. Great guys, and Dead City knows them. They're all friends.
Yeah.
So they did that once before. Ink has grown so much that it's like, it's massive, but we're still on just like the reformatory property. So it's like, it's kind of hard. Like Sonic Temple, for instance, that's at a soccer stadium. So there's tons of room around the stadium. There's tons of room in the stadium. And it's not like that at the reformatory. So imagine 30,000 people standing around that building, and you run out of room quick,
Yeah, crazy. So I remember when I was there, I was the prison is just gorgeous. I can't believe how great of a condition the entire building is. Shout out to, the actual owners and everyone who actually takes care of the buildings, foundation and structures, because they do an amazing job. It looks like it's never aged. I mean, now when you walk back through the cells, obviously they're old and deteriorated compared to like what jail cells look like in a modern day prison.
Yeah.
But the building's exterior and a majority of the indoor interior looks phenomenal. I mean, it looks in great condition. It looks like it's still a very much working prison. But I like also behind it is an actual correctional facility as well. Because that was kind of funny when I was sitting outside talking with your crew. I was like, oh.
Yeah,
we were waving at the inmates.
Yeah.
There's two of them.
There's two. Yeah, if you look in this picture, you can see like the one directly behind us is a medium security prison, and then there's kind of one off to the left that's called Mancy, and it's a maximum security prison. And there's still the last I heard, there was still like 10 guys in that prison that were in this prison when it closed back in 1990. They were lifers. Wow. So they're still in the old prison, or rather the new prison. We got to go over there and see the cemetery last summer, because that's still an active cemetery.
Cool.
Yeah, there's still people like being buried there. If you die in prison and nobody claims you, it's just like, well, they stick them. There's like, I think 2 or 3 in Ohio. So they stick you either there. So like we were like taking pictures of the tombstones, and I'm like, I'm gonna find this guy. So I Googled this guy on there, and it's like, oh man, there he is. He was in there for like, I don't know, killing somebody or something. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of them were in there for that, but you know what I mean.
I never had one die as a correctional officer. I never had one die on me. So.
Oh yeah.
No, not on me, not on my watch, not on my years of being a correctional officer. I had not one die on me. So I got my blessings for that, because that's a whole lot of paperwork I don't want to deal with.
Yeah, I bet.
But when we took the trip to a bunch of us, everyone from my whole rotation, we decided to go down to Missouri State Prison a couple of years ago now. We went down there for the night tour, and because we all worked for the county jail, they wanted us taking it to their cemetery, which is, they usually don't do that. But the historian that's been there forever is like, you guys want to see the actual cemetery? Well, guys, hop in your cars and follow me, because it's off-site. And that's where they buried all their inmates. It was unique. It was different. It doesn't look like the traditional cemetery, because obviously all the markers look the same. They're not really personalized. They just have a first and last name. Some of them had their nickname on there, but it really was just their first, last name, a death date, and then their inmate number.
Yeah, that's kind of like the way these were too. Kind of similar. Yeah.
They did have a few that had no name, because they were either part of a riot or they were set on fire, and there was no way to identify them. They just knew that, yes, obviously they were inmates. So it just would be unknown, no name, no nothing. Kind of sad. It's like that's your final resting place and you don't have a name because they couldn't identify you at the time. These were obviously a lot older graves where DNA was not a thing, where they couldn't identify you, and obviously no one claimed them either. So but I'm into that stuff. It's unique, it's different, it's the dark history, it's the reality that could still go on to this day. So I'm a little bit of a history buff when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We got if you will, a kind of a famous inmate, famous cell at the prison called, his last name was Lockhart. I don't know the first name, but they call it Lockhart cell. And he was, I don't know, for whatever reason, he decided to unalive himself, and he did it by torching his cell, burning himself alive. So he did that, which is just nuts. So of course, when we got to go over there, and they have like this map that you can look at and numbers and everything. So they were trying to figure out which grave was his, and they found it. They found Lockhart's grave. But yeah, that's like, that place has got so many. I hear news stories from other inmates that were in there, and it's just like some of it's pretty gruesome. Other ones are just kind of what you'd expect, but a lot of crazy stuff, as you know, as a corrections officer. You'll hear about, see that, makes Halloween look kind of tame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. My experiences with my jail, we did have 2 official suicides on record. The jail's been around, I want to say a little bit over 30 years. I want to say about between 40 and 30 years. So it's still a little bit more modern. It's gone through renovations. But the 2 official suicides we have on records, one is in CPOT and then the other one's down in booking. And yeah, weird things would happen. At night, you're in the control room, which overlooks the entire jail, and you'll see just shadows, very dark shadows, like they are black as midnight, and they have no reason to be there. They'll just be moving shadows. There's nothing causing them. They're just there. So you see a lot of that up in the catwalk balcony, and then on the camera in the booking, because there's a camera in that cell. You'll see a disembodied shadow in that room, and there's nobody in there. The lights are off, but there's a light coming in, but the shadow is in a corner where the light's not casting a shadow. So it's just like, okay. You'll see weird light orbs that will show up in random spots. And again, there's no light or anything causing them. They're just there. And they're not insects because they're too big to be insects, but they'll just be things you can't explain. We'll hear things from time to time, but usually we can rule that off as it's one of the inmates moving around in their cells at night, or it's one of us pranking each other. But the shadows are definitely something that I was like, okay, that's real.
Yeah, paranormal stories, and probably most of the, like, especially Troy's school, you know what I mean? In the prison, I think it's unavoidable no matter where. Everybody wants to look at the most creepiest buildings and be like, oh, that place has got to be haunted. But it's like, there's probably people died in your house. You know what I mean? I mean, if you want to look at it like that, you know what I mean? There's been, you know, I live in a house that was built in the 60s. So it's like, I'm sure somebody's died here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? But what can you do, right? I mean, it's you know,
exactly.
It's what we live in. It's the world we're in. And, you know, I used to be like, hate going through solitary confinement when I first started there, because just your mind playing tricks on a little bit. Now it's just like,
it's
whatever.
creepy on its own because it's so dark and cold down there.
Yeah, it is. It's freezing, especially in the winter when it's always like 10 degrees colder in the building, because the giant cell block, you can't heat that. You know what I mean? But it's always 10 degrees colder inside than it is outside because of the stone, and, you know, it's just nuts.
Well, it was a psychological thing too when it comes to solitary confinement. Same thing at my jail, we have that as well. So it's a psychological thing to have it where it's off by itself. So technically, temperature can regulate differently back there. But I know with Ohio Reformatory, because of the tier built on top during the summertime, if you were on the top floor in the cell blocks, it was brutally hot. And then in the wintertime, it was brutally cold. And that's why they would put the worst that they can up there as part of their punishment.
Yeah, a lot of times they would, I mean, obviously I don't know personally, But a lot of times they would say that the on the top tier of the East Cell block that like guys would wake up and their toilets would be frozen. Like the toilet water would be frozen. It's just like, and they ended up suing the state of Ohio and winning for inhumane conditions, which started the whole, the whole build the new prison and move them over and all that stuff. And, I mean, whatever. That's even back then, it was the way the world sue somebody to get what you want.
Unfortunately, it still goes like that to this day, but what can you do? All right, so Territories is, have that good insurance. Have that really good attorney.
Yeah.
But Territories is now in the comment. It says that he thinks he has heard of Blood Prison. Might be a spreadsheet for a future tour.
There you go. Territories. That would be the
and
is that the Ohio Valley? What is that called? We're on the Passport of Terror is what we're on. It's these guys that are doing like 10 haunts. You do 10 haunts, I'm on it, and then I think there's a bunch of other haunts on it in Ohio. Dent Schoolhouse is in it. And it's like, it's like a Passport of Terror. So you go to all 10, you get a sticker every one you go to in your passport book, and then if you go to all 10, you get a hoodie. I don't know if that's the same thing that commented or not.
No.
Different thing.
Territories is in Pittsburgh this year. Last year was in Philadelphia. Troy couldn't be on with us tonight. But anyway, so this year it's in Pittsburgh. Castle Blood and Crawford are on the tour. We also, who are my guests back a couple episodes ago, I had PJ from Fright Farm, and then I had the owners of Portals of Fear who are also on the tour as well. And then we have Haunted Hills Estate as well on the tour. So it's 5 haunts across 3 days. 2 haunts Friday, 2 haunts Saturday, 1 haunt on Sunday.
That's cool.
It's kind of how Troy does it. So last year in Philadelphia, we did Penhurst, we did Fright Factory, we did Wardorf Strait of Fear, which was the Hell House series. If you remember that found footage film, it was filmed there. So that was cool seeing that. We got to go down to the basement, got private tour. It was awesome. And then we went to a home haunt on steroids called Devil's Laughs Laugh, which is in this guy's backyard. It's a giant, one of those big giant pole barn sheds that like for semi trucks. That's what he built his haunt out of. Really cool for someone that just does it as a hobby, and yet it felt like walking through a pro haunt. And then we had Bates Motel on Sunday, which was good because the 2 days before it kept continuously raining. And we're like, Bates Motel is mostly outside, Troy. It better not rain. We don't want to be soaking wet. The other haunts were indoors, luckily, but thank God Mother Nature let up and Bates Motel was fun with little to no rain. I think we had a little bit of drizzle during the day, but it didn't rain us out at the haunt. So that was great.
So is it just like
and then this year,
like
now we're in Pittsburgh. It's a bus tour.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Oh, yeah.
I was just on a Lost Souls tour that does all the Chicago haunts, and that's another bus tour. I was just on that Saturday with Japes and his crew. The Chicago Haunt Builders are some of the big sponsors that put it on and stuff like that. So I do a little bit of everything, Vic. I'm all over the place.
I wish I had time to do that. I don't know about you guys, but like, man, I wish I had time to go do bus tours at, other haunts, man. I'm just like, I see mine every night. I'm just like, well, it's the same thing over and over again because I'm just stuck at home.
Hey, though, it's your baby, though.
Yeah. We try to get out. Like, I know Fear Columbus there usually they do like, I don't know, like Wednesdays and Thursdays. So we try to go down there.
Yeah, they do a lot of nights.
Yeah. So it's like, we try to do that when we can, but we're just, always stuck at home working. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You go on the Legendary tour, don't you?
No, dude, I can't. I don't have time because it's like,
it's right after you guys end, and it's time for you guys to tear it down too.
Yep. Yeah, I don't get to do anything, man. I'm like a sheltered child. I don't get to do nothing. I'm stuck in Mansfield.
You need to go and see the haunts for like for Valentine's and other stuff. I know Transworld this year did officially announce, because it's on the website. When it's on the website, it's official.
Yeah.
That they're going to be doing Talon Falls for a Halloween night tour. And then, of course, I know you do it for MHC as well. You do all the haunt tours and stuff and see other attractions.
Well, I haven't been to MHC in quite a while. I go to East. We went to East Coast the last couple of years, which was cool. You know what I mean? There was a lot of good haunts there. Yeah. So, which one are they doing at Transworld? Is that during the show, or is it pre?
They have not announced the date. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a pre-bus tour, just because it's 3 hours away from St. Louis. It's in Kentucky. Because I said that too. I was like, man, that's 3 hours away. But I'm happy that they are adding a tour to Transworld, just something different, something new. Town Falls is pretty well known around my area, even though, it's 3 hours away. But most people here from St. Louis, we're well aware of Talon Falls. Pretty cool haunt. I personally have not been there yet, so I'm kind of excited to see that. But they did add it on the website. There will be a tour. They just haven't announced the date, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be a pre-tour from it being so far away. Because it's 3 hours there, 3 hours back. That's 6 hours within the day. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be before the trade show starts. And then they haven't announced what next year tours are for East Coast or MHC yet. Or maybe they did. I don't remember.
That'd be cool.
All right, Tom was here, just popped up. Said he's been out to the reformatory, walking around a couple times. But, so you've never been out to Blood Prison. So you've been to the reformatory for the daytime tours, but you've never been to Blood Prison. Well, you need to say it's on your short list, but you need to make that number 1 on that short list.
Yeah, for sure. Come on out. You know what the cool thing about our ticket too is if you get for a year, a Blood Prison ticket is good for a self-guided tour ticket of the Ohio State Reformatory. So you can come back for 1 year and then tour the building when it's just, regular tour season.
That's awesome.
A little more incentive.
So Troy, do you do any events outside of just Halloween season with Crawford?
We do not.
You do not?
We thought about it a couple times, but being that it is brutally cold during the other off season, I don't think we'd be able to staff it. And in the past, we've had even last year, we had trouble getting staff. Not this year, but we were like, well, if we have an issue now, how the hell are we going to get people to do this for a Valentine haunt or Christmas? It's so cold upstairs in the building. We do not heat it.
You guys are further north up.
And the basement stays about this. It's underground pretty far. It's probably, I'm going to say it's probably 15 feet underground because there was a full basketball court in the basement of the school. So stays maybe about 50 degrees down there all year round, but upstairs, no. So some of the actors, they'll get on. Why don't we do this on? Well, because it'd be you and that person and no one else. And I'm not sure. I don't know. It's a lot to do a regular haunt, and I'd rather just go see Ricky's haunt during his shows, so he can do that work then.
There you go.
Ricky, how about you? Any off-season plans and stuff like that?
Absolutely. We have a behind-the-scenes tour on November 8th, and then we have 5 weeks to get the Christmas show rebuilt. So we do the Christmas show, which there's a tree decorated appropriately to the cast member in every room, and a whole new set of challenges. Every time we open, we have a whole new theatrical show, whole new set of challenges, whole new props for it, all of that. We do Christmas, we do St. Patrick's Day, we do Summerween in June,
Mhm.
This year, all 4 in 2025 were actually one continuing story. You're not missing anything if you're just coming this weekend. It's fine. But if we have fans that are like really, really paying attention, so they like the Easter eggs of it, all 4 in 2025 were tied together. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were one of the first haunts to do a full redress, not redress like we changed the room, but a full cover over for Christmas. Our first Christmas show was in 2012. We used to do Valentine's Day, but we got Troyitis. It was too damn cold. Every year we did it, we had to, almost every year we did it, we had to close one of the days, and for us, it's like, we can write an entire October show. It's the same amount of work to do a 2-day show. So we also used to do halfway to Halloween before everybody took that name. So I don't want to do that anymore. The best thing about halfway to Halloween,
I don't blame you.
We did make and takes all day, and then we would do one of our old shows at night. And the coolest thing about it is that's how we met Troy and Susie. They came to learn how to do make and take stuff with us.
I still have our first one we made.
So we taught everybody how to make joint compound statues and how to make candles out of toilet paper rolls and just all that basic stuff for a price. And then we had food and hot dogs and whatever in the courtyard while all the cast went and hid and got dressed, and then we did a show at night. But the whole rest of the world, everybody, including Disney and everything's using halfway to Halloween now. So it's like, I'm out. Nope, no thanks. We figured that one out. We can figure something else out. So we moved it to June and Summerween, which is always a balancing thing because graduations, Father's Day, Pride Month, blah, blah, all that. When do we do it? There's 2 horror events in Pittsburgh during June too. So, but it's fun. It keeps the cast together. It keeps our core customers together. They're always interested in what crazy nonsense we're coming up with. So so right now we do 4 a year. Plus we do paranormal shows at least twice a year with a service that comes, investigating business that comes in. Because yes, our building is 125 years old. It was a funeral parlor. So when
I was about to ask.
It was a funeral.
Your building has
built in
history.
1905 by one of the founders of our little city. But by the 30s, it had been sold, and the funeral under 4 families from the 30s until 2009. It was a working funeral parlor. So we have some
awesome.
We have some spookies in there all the time too.
Yeah, I was about to ask that. I got sidetracked, but I was about to ask, does your building have a history too? So, wow, we got an old schoolhouse, a prison, and an old funeral parlor. That's crazy.
The 3 of us, when we're not on TV, we kind of twitch a lot, It's always weird. You never know how hot it is outside, but you just got to chill inside. I'm sure it's just a draft. Yeah, absolutely. It's just a draft. Well, we have customers that touched. We have stuff that happens. They're standing up against the wall and they swear somebody grabbed their belt loop, that kind of stuff. Happens all the time. Nothing mean or nasty, just playful nonsense.
I don't know about that belt loop, man. You trying to take my pants off?
No, it's just a pull, just a nice tug. Like, I don't know. It's a lot less than some of the immersive haunts, what they do to you. So it's all good. a little ghost action now and then is fine. It's all good.
Yeah.
Guys, I got bad news. I think I'm being invaded.
Oh, shit.
Hey, 2 Troys for the price of 1, huh?
I know. I'm invaded by Troys.
We both survived the reckoning. So more Troys.
Yeah.
We did.
More Troys around.
So Troy, we were talking a little bit about Terror Tours, but of course, I'm not going to take your thunder because Terror Tours is you. That is your baby. So
I've never heard of it. I've never heard of it. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, if only the guy posted on social media once in a while about it. Huh?
I've never really gotten the hang of social media. It's just not my thing for some reason. I don't know. I can't figure it out. Someday I'll get it. Yeah. And don't worry, Blood Prison. I don't know if you read my comment earlier. I will. Ohio is on my spreadsheet, so
has to be.
Come on out, man.
And there is no way in hell I'm going to Ohio without going to Blood Prison. And that's once again because and several of the people on this panel and a lot of the people who are watching know why I do these tours. It's only because I want to see these haunted houses. And sure, I bring my friends along with me, but it's really a selfish act. And I want to see these haunts. And so I'm like, well, I'm already going. So why don't we just get a bus and have a bunch of people tag along with me? And, so, I would definitely be able to say that Blood Prison would be the ringer haunt for sure on that tour. So it is on my list. One of the things I don't like to do is I don't like to follow kind of where Legendary goes. And so I kind of like to stay, several years off of where they're going. And me and Jen work together really well on that. And she gets first dibs and so then we work together and kind of space off from each other. So she's in Utah this year. I'm over here in Pittsburgh. So we're, servicing both sides of the country for people. And then you got Japes with Lost Souls in the middle there. So, the country is covered by tours if you want to see haunts that way, which I think it's the best way to see haunted houses. I know you guys just want people to come and, come every night, but, I think a bus full of haunters and Halloween people is the best way.
You can bring a bus full every night. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me try to sell that. It took me since March to sell this one. Let's see if I can do another one for next weekend.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Well, I mean, Troy, we know where all these haunters are going. They're going to haunted houses. So I was just telling them what was going on up there in Chicago, visiting the haunted houses up there. The owners were complaining about, literally they were complaining about being overstaffed. And I'm like, what are you complaining about? That's a blessing. And like, how are we going to pay for these people? And I'm like, well, count your blessings because it's a good sign. It's showing that these younger generation of haunters coming into this industry, they want to do this. They want to work.
Yeah.
So,
well, but check back with those same haunters in like the third week of October and see how many of them are left. Because a lot of those people are like, this is so awesome. This is so awesome. I love haunting. This is great. And then about 3 weeks in, they're like, oh man, my grandma is driving. I got to go with the gutters, cleaning toe fungus. They'll come up with the craziest shit. I have heard so many stories from haunters, from haunt owners all over the country of the shit these people come up with to get out of work. And the funniest one is, do I have to work Halloween? But yeah. I mean, if we're open, you're working. Like,
yeah.
It's funny how many grandmothers and grandfathers that haunt actors have when October hits. I have some that have had 4 or 5. My grandma died. I'm like, that's your 5th one, bro. How's that work?
Something's wrong with your family.
Yeah.
You might want to go home. I think you're next if that's the way it's going.
Right.
Yeah. No.
Families just taking each other out.
Right. Yeah. No, we are absolutely excited to see some random haunts. We literally took a dart board and we just threw some darts and they just happened to land on this school and this funeral parlor and this farm and some estate sale, as it gets Haunted Hills estate sale. I don't know. And then this and it was like a big black hole in the middle and it just said portals. And I was like, well, let's just go there. So we're really excited to see these amazing places. And like I said, I almost every tour that we've done, other than the ones in Oregon and Washington where we started, I had never been to any of these haunts. There's been a few over the years where like Dark Hour, I went to Dark Hour before we had the tour at Dark Hour the next year. But that's because I went to the Texas convention and was able to see it that way. But the majority of these, I'm seeing them for the first time too. So that also is a risk. It's like, it's the same thing with picking the hotels. I hope it's good. I mean, I'm picking it based on a lot of factors. I look at their Yelp reviews. I look at Google reviews. I never look at at their Facebook reviews because they're either done by rival haunts and they're bad mouthing them, or it's their own haunt actors saying we're the greatest haunt ever. And, but generally, I look at lots of things and I do watch a lot of review videos from different, reviewers, and then also talk to haunters in the areas too. I'll find some random people that are on like Haunters Hangout and stuff like that and be like, hey, have you seen this show? And, what do you think of it? and I'll have people in the area going, "Oh no, don't go to that one." And sometimes it's because it's their rival haunt and they don't want you to go there. But yeah, every haunt that we've went to has been amazing for us. We've had some absolute surprises. One of the, and this isn't a knock on these haunts, but we've had some mega haunts that the smaller haunt is the one that everybody talks about. Last year, Devil's Last Laugh, this little haunt in the back pole barn of this guy's house, everybody talked about it because these bigger haunts have the stigma of you got to have the chainsaw, you've got to have the vampire room, you have to have the squeeze tunnel, you have to have all these individual things that people are expecting when they go in, even and then when you don't have it, they're like, where was the chainsaw guy? But it's these littler haunts that grow into these bigger ones later that surprise people. And we've even had home haunts on our tour before, and that was the highlight. Everybody was like, that was so cool because it was unexpected. And so we always like to pick smaller haunts, couple them with the bigger haunts so that everybody gets a mix of what that area offers. And everybody loved going to Pennhurst because of the history and the what they know they're going to get there, and they were blown away by it. But they were just like, Devil's Last Laugh, that was so cool, it's so different and unique, and they didn't expect that to be in that guy's backyard. So, this year we have so many different styles of haunting, as Ricky has been talking about his, and Troy's, where you've got the school aspect, you've got different floors, you've got the funeral parlor stuff with old school haunting and interactivity, and and then you've got Haunted Hills Estates, which is the Scream Park style, and Portals is your unique, smaller, younger haunt. And then Fright Farm is is just the crazy, always changing up stuff type of haunt too. So I think this year we really hit 5 unique haunts that really will showcase Pittsburgh. So I hope at least that's the goal.
Tom was here, said that as a native Pittsburgh, the haunts that you pick are terrific. You're gonna have a great time. You may see me at 1 or 2 this weekend. So awesome. We got Tom was here, who is a YouTuber that I also follow and subscribe, is probably going to be joining us, hanging out with us and stuff like that over the weekend. I mean, I'm pumped up and ready. I just got back from Chicago and now I'm ready for Pittsburgh. Like, I am pumped.
Yeah, don't tell Tom that I use some of his footage in my trailer, because Fright Farm doesn't have footage of their haunt. So, media companies, if you're needing, a new customer, Fright Farm might be a good pickup there. They have some great videos in the past, but they haven't done a video in the last couple of years. And so I'm like, I need something. I can't just put up a logo that says Fright Farm. It's not eye catching, and so, usually when that happens, I usually try to grab some pictures that they've taken, which every haunt takes lots of great pictures. So usually I'll do some sort of slideshow type thing that something that I can put together. But Tom did a fantastic review video last year that I was able to grab some shots off of. And I think somewhere I gave him credit somewhere on there. But yeah, Tom, you did a fantastic video. All your videos are great. Just don't come after me. I don't have a lawyer and I don't have any money. So.
Well, he said it's okay.
Oh, good.
That's
good.
a lie.
Good.
He's a good guy.
He's already drafting up the documents. He's on Legal Zoom right now. I know it. I got
it. Tom says he's noticed.
He's noticed.
Oh,
but see, that's completely okay.
That is. I have to go. I have to go. I'm out.
He's looking at the legality of it right now.
Yeah, right. He's like, can I get him for that? Yeah, well, then maybe here's the thing, Tom. Go talk to PJ and say, hey, I'd like to shoot some video for you guys, So he did a lot of great angles and a lot of great shots of I love the colors. And that's like when I look for videos that haunts do, it's the colors, it's the fast pace of it, because I'm trying to cut together your own footage as well to make a trailer for it. and I need something that is eye-catching and quick. And I know that like Crawford, you guys got that grant last year where you were able to bring in that media company, and that whole thing just was awesome. Everything they did for you guys was awesome. Ricky's out there doing his own stuff with his super high 8 camera. Right. So, but I love the look of your video because it embodies what Castle Blood is. It's not this super high tech, crazy, futuristic, techie haunt. So, I love that. So when I saw your video, I was like, perfect. I'll just input that right there and go. So, but yeah, we are very excited.
Tom, I think you left your talk text on.
Uh-oh.
Tom left his talk text on. Google, tell me how to copyright law from a YouTube video.
There, as long as you're not using the sound. Giggling. I did not use your sound. I did mute you. But it depends. On some of the videos, I do like to grab like the screams and stuff like that, especially if the video got scare footage. Which is always a great thing to have. But PJ said he was going to get me video, and he's probably going to hate me for this, but he never got me video. So they're the only haunt that really doesn't have a haunt spotlight at the end. So I think I'll make that a spotlight once we're there, because I did it like every 3 or 4 Sundays I would do one. So then since they're on Sunday this year, I will shoot a video while I'm there and post it up live on Facebook and be like, your haunt spotlight for Sunday is Fright Farm, and we're here. No, we're not it's all me doing this. And so, I'm not I am techie to a point, but yeah.
When are we ever going to see Mr. Unicorn on the bus?
Wait, does people want to see? I don't think people want to see that. You know what? I will leave the theatric bus captaining to Japes, as well as the knitting to Alan and Shannon, because if anybody's been on an Alan Shannon Trans World Company tour, theirs is the knitting one, Tater's is the game one, and Japes is the what is he, a hillbilly? Is he a hillbilly weirdo guy? No buck teeth wearing? Yeah.
You would have to ask him. I'm not
I don't think he understands the words I'm saying.
What Brewster is actually.
Yeah. I don't think Brewster knows what it is. No.
Yeah.
So yeah,
honestly, reminded me a lot of you.
Me and Japes are very much alike.
Reminded me a lot of you. Yeah. Yes, yeah. Just you guys are very engaged, great hosts, always cracking jokes, being funny. Obviously the tours are 21 and up. So we're all adults here, but we all crack jokes at each other. Everyone on the bus calls you out. They were doing the same thing to Japes and Terry, who's also involved with the bus tours.
Mm-hmm.
So it was literally reminding me of you and Ashley.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. If you can't take what you give out, and I dish out a lot of ribbing to people, if you can't take it back, you can't be giving it. And so I fully expect people to come at me, and I fully enjoy it. It grounds me. Us Troys have this giant ego thing going. We have to watch ourselves. We have to be brought back down a lot. And our wives do a very good job of that. I know Susie is Troy's amazing handler. And
you can say that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you were given the nickname Damn It Troy.
Right. That's how that came about. I think this is the first time me and Troy have been on video before, because Susie's always overtaken the video when we were on our show and stuff like that. She was always so this is exciting.
Yeah, she talks a lot more than I do.
Yes. Yeah, she's quite a talker. So.
Well, I got to tell you, my cast is going nuts trying to release the energy of us being the first haunt on the tour. We're very honored. We're very thrilled. And some of our younger ones are definitely feeling the pressure. Some of us old farts, we were on the Legendary tour years ago, and it's like, it is going to be easier. These are haunt fans, not haunt owners and actors like the Legendary tour. These are people that are just like, have only heard of us or only seen a little bit online or whatever. So they're really going to be more like the really into it normal customers, you know, the ones that are like always watching all the YouTube videos, always, you know, that kind of stuff. Because there's regular people out there that watch Stilt Beast Studios and watch Derek every Saturday morning with his YouTube videos and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's gonna be people that watch all that. They're relax. We're gonna be fine.
If anything,
there's a crack in the wall here. Oh, but we got to do them like
right.
Like with our show, I think Troy would believe it with his actors too. It's like, I know we look good.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't worry about that. And once you get a hold of my actors, once you're in a set with my actors, I'm totally not worried about that.
No.
You know, they know what they're doing. They're great at what they do. I write a script and wind them up, and God knows how they deliver it, but everybody seems to like it.
Yeah.
So it's all good there, you know. So it's like, no, it's fine. It's fine. One other thing too that Troy gave me permission to talk about was we do Sunday afternoon matinee family shows. And I know there's free time during the day for Terror Tours folks to do what they want. So we're open from 2 to 4 on Sunday with the lights on. The animations aren't running and there's no scare actors. All my scare actors are trick-or-treat stations for kids, but you still get the full show. All the other acting parts, all the game part. And here's the deal that Terror Tours might be interested in. Because the lights are all on, you're allowed to take pictures.
Oh, nice.
You know, you're not allowed to take a whole video walkthrough or anything. Right. We have magic in the game and all like that, so we don't want to be giving that away. Yeah. But if anybody wants to slide down, you know, it's only $15 normally, and for Terror Tours people, we're only going to charge $10 if you want to come back and walk through and take pictures. You know, or just hang out with us some. So if anybody's interested in that, keep that in your back pocket. You know.
Yeah, we're going to announce that on the bus when we're going through. It keeps it fresher than putting it on social media.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
So people will know, you know, before and after, you know, we leave. We'll mention to it. I know that there's some people that are going to go to Trans Allegheny on Sunday, but we have to leave like at 8 a.m. And so but we're not going to have enough vehicles for everyone. So that'll be a good secondary thing for people to do. You know, and it's close enough to get back because we have to leave by 5:30 to get to the other haunt on Sunday. So that's
actually, if they have their own cars and they're already here, they just got to drive a little while farther south to get to the farm.
Yeah, but they want to be on our bus.
Yeah, they want to be on the bus.
They want to be on a nice cushy bus.
Right. They want to be on the bus because they want to listen. To
I need to be on that good bus.
right. Not a school.
Yeah,
bus.
No, we'll get. You know, if they get here 2 or 3, we'll get them out of here in plenty of time to get back up there.
No, that'll be fine. No, and that's the thing is that probably the only problem you'll have with our group is that we might go a little slower because we are actually looking at every part of it. We're enjoying what you made. We're not there to run through and you might not scare most of us, but I know there's several in the group who do get hit, and I'm one of them usually. So we don't sit there and act.
Here's a little secret about the castle that Troy could give a thumbs up if he agrees. Once you get set on your quest for the night, people are so worried about screwing up and so concerned about doing the games right or participating in stuff. They totally forget that they're still animations and scare actors.
Right.
You know, and then when it hits them, then they can't think straight for a few minutes when they have to go do something.
Yeah.
So it's a real,
it's
a real interesting.
Right.
The simplest little old school scares will get people here.
Oh yeah.
Because they're concentrating on the scenery and the game.
Right.
Yep.
And that's the thing is that once you've made a set that's immersive, then you can do stuff with them because they believe they're in that space. And that's when I go through haunts, that's what I look for the most is how immersive is this, and honestly, when you go from a cemetery scene to clowns to zombies to some weird thing that doesn't make sense to anyone, and it removes that suspension of belief. So I know, like with Blood Prison, you have that theme that you go through the whole thing, and it's you're not jumping from random theme to random theme every other door you hit, because that just doesn't work. And to be immersive, you're going to get a better experience for your customer that way, because then you can do all sorts of things with them in there, because they feel like they're in that scene or in that time period.
Well, that's why you're going to love the Schoolhouse too. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they are so dedicated to their theme, so dedicated to everything fits and does it make sense in here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in an industry where you have two people right here that go, we don't got any chainsaws.
Right. Yeah.
A funeral parlor doesn't need a chainsaw except for actual gardening. It's like same kind of with the school. But the characters they have are as intense. I mean, Susie with the Tooth Fairy is as intense as any actor you'll ever see. She sat next to me last year when I went outside out front. She came down and she started doing stuff. I freaking didn't even know it was her. It's like I didn't. I mean, I've known her for 10 years now, right? Like, the next day I'm writing her going, "Hey, Susie's show was great. Sorry I missed you."
Yeah.
And I got back a message with nothing but LOLs for like a page, like,
Yeah.
So it's immersive out there too, man. It's the real deal as far as just thematic.
Yeah.
Thematic what they've done. I mean, they used to have the USS Nightmare. The original ones got sold and brought to Pittsburgh years and years ago, like late 90s.
Right.
And I wasn't disappointed once I got in it. I was disappointed when I first got in it, because I just thought it would be a haunted boat.
Right.
And there'd be dead sailors and there'd be all like that. It was a greatest hits haunt, and it was a really good greatest hits haunt. So no dissing them on that.
Right.
But when you see this boat pull up and you're going to go, I expected it to be different than it was, which is bad on me. You go to the Schoolhouse, you see it. There's not going to be anything to screw with you that it's not a schoolhouse.
Right.
But there's still great scares from all angles, weird contraptions, weird whatever. The decoration is using schoolhouse stuff to decorate.
Yeah.
Like he's saying, "Oh, we had these giant I'm going to pimp him for a while." He said, we had these giant places and we couldn't build anything. No, but they had lockers, tons of them, and they had desks, tons of them. And that's what they used to build their walls when they first opened.
Yeah.
We brought all those in.
It was amazing. Oh, I remember you telling me that later. But everything was like, instead of building flats or doing this or whatever, you went around and had to move around actual school stuff.
Right.
It was really, really cleverly done.
Yeah, because Susie's on Facebook every 15 seconds looking at all the different marketplace stuff from the 7 states surrounding them, and goes, hey, Troy, we're going here today. Okay, let's go.
We had to get clever with a low budget in the beginning.
Right.
Really clever when you don't have a lot of money.
I heard that. That's why I rely on my actors.
Yeah, some of the best haunts spend the least amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
So
Actors are where it's at.
Yep.
Yeah, the only reason we look so full is we got 33 years of stuff we've accumulated. We didn't look like this when we first started. Who does, right?
No. And I think the school is going to be our first. I'm trying to think of the different haunts we've been to that are multi. We went to a multi-level haunt in Oregon. It was just from a downstairs to an upstairs. It was like in like a VFW type building. But other than that, I don't think we've been in any other haunts that have had several levels to them, because a lot of the ones in Oregon and Washington are all outdoor haunts, or they're built in parks or stuff like that, and they're not, or in forests. There a lot of them are takedown, at the end of the season, so they don't have the room to buy these buildings and stuff like that. And so yeah, I think this is going to be our second time we've been through a multi-level, or multi-height haunt. So that'll be something interesting too. So I think that always gets people, is like, oh, there's stairs. I'm going to a whole, and every floor is a different theme, right? Like, I mean, it's still in the school stuff, but read the other day that there's different stuff going on different floors, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
the last floor drops off the school. It is not school themed. It's the only place, but it fits in.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I was about to ask for everyone, is there anything new scenes that you have added to your attractions this year?
We've had to tear
Anything
down
new
a
you
bunch of
guys have
stuff
added
that's
this year?
outside and rebuild. And we're lucky because since we changed the show, we don't every 2 or 3 years we tear out and do a new scene, but we don't have to do a new scenes all the time because the show is so different.
mhm.
Yeah, we added some scenes. We added a new cell block scene and redid a couple scenes in both cell blocks, and then 2 new rooms up in our house.
We redid a
Awesome.
scene. We redid a scene that was a nursery before, but we were using shelving as walls, but we just decided to make it a little bit tighter, build more walls, turned it in like a dollhouse theme. So we changed that up a bit. So then when we changed that up a bit, we had to move another scene, and then everything's tore up, and we're like, why did we do this? So I had to finish the one scene, move on, and I'm building in the middle of a room, and I can't no longer build walls anymore to bring them through. So I got to tear walls down, move them to another section, build them back up. But that's on the second floor. We added a few things, but not. We took out a place where we had an actor and put an animatronic because it was getting a little dangerous. We had somebody on a bungee for a while, and luckily we didn't have them on a bungee last year when the contraption kind of came out of the wall.
Uh-oh.
So we're like, you know what? Let's do more of that.
Yeah. I'm always worried about that. I see it at Transworld every year, and I'm like, oh,
bungees are fun.
But it's like I'm always a little worried about, okay, well, who's installing that? Because not every haunt has a structural engineer guy, a really amazing carpenter. I mean, they could be like, hey, go bolt that to the wall, and the guy doesn't even put it in the studs, and you're like, oh God, So I know a lot of haunts would make sure that it's in the studs and with all the extra stuff, but those things are pretty intense. I mean, I see them at Transworld, and I'm just like,
after a while,
it
wears on it, no matter how good you bolt it in. And everything that I ever bolt in where my daughter would be on a perch or something, I hang from that damn thing myself. So she weighs, not even half of what I weigh. Yeah. I'll climb up, I'll pull on it, yank, and I've had it bolted in. Now, none of that, we've never had any issues with that. We do have a fly system, the trolley in our basement, which is on a giant beam from the building itself. So it's not going anywhere.
Right.
Now, can I get somebody to do that every night? No, because it hurts. In a harness through last year, we had actors that wanted to do it when we first got it. Oh, I want to do that. And then they get on for like an hour, like, oh, I don't want to do that tonight. So then I'm like, my old ass is going to go up there, work the whole night without a break. And I did that for many nights. And I'm like, I'm not taking a break because I have to show these little punks that that are complaining about it. They all wanted to do it. They fought over it, and then nobody wanted to do it. Now, my daughter's best friend, she got up there, want to do it. On that damn thing every night, and no complaints at all. Now they're both in college now, so she is coming in one weekend. She's like, I want the rail.
They just
I'm
have
going
to get
on that rail. She's not coming in this weekend though, but somebody's going on that damn rail this weekend.
Yeah.
And I said, someone's going on that rail. We did not have anybody on it opening weekend, but now I'm not going on it, but someone is. There are a few young guys out there who are like, I want to do that. I'm like, you'll get your chance. Whether they rotate out, I don't care. I want somebody on that rail.
Right.
It's
a very effective start. Yeah. It's I always miss when I go through Dark Hour.
Customers don't expect it.
Dark Hour has the dome room, and they've got the actor that runs around the edge of the dome room, and they got a little platform for him to stop on. But it's the same problem. They can't find someone to want to be in it all night because you're in a harness and you are attached, because they can fly around a little bit too. But it's also, you're running at a slant, and so you can imagine the amount of stamina and amount of leg strength you'd have to do that for 5, 6, 7, 5 or 6 hours. And so they don't have a lot of people that want to do that either. And like, my daughter wants to do it, and they're like, all right, well, she's not 18 yet. We got to wait 5 years for her to be 18. And then we can have her, now we have a full runner. But yeah, no, it's those, those contraptions are awesome, but I can imagine how much strain it puts on the actor.
You're not comfortable.
No. Well, that's something that
fly rings are fun. Yes. I love doing the fly rings. I love doing the bungee, but yeah, I had one actor at Darkness that was always in the bungee. She do it all season. She did it for 5 years. She got promoted. So now she can't. And she is still have yet to find her replacement to take it over full time. But fly rings, never had an issue with those. Everybody seemed to want to do those. But the way we had them set up in the Darkness, the actor can take a lot of the weight from the harness off of them while they were moving around on it. So actors figured it out pretty quickly of how to keep themselves comfortable. And we over padded it. So the padding, obviously it comes as we padded it up even more to make it a lot more comfortable. So we went and learned from them, but we still like them because it's great scares. Customers are not expecting someone to be flying over them. And actors can build speed with those things too. They can just launch themselves and they can go back and forth, or they can go nice and slow and just reach down. There are ones where they can actually flip over on them, so they could do like some cool acrobatic tricks. And then the bungee, they're just not expecting someone to come flying out at them.
Right. Yeah.
And almost kicking them in the face.
I mean, it's every couple of years.
Or the best is they'll have a victim actor. Yes, new ways to scare. We see it every year at Transville, the new ways to scare people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put one of those fly rails in first time this year, and we've got like two girls that are just in love with it. They love doing it, and it's working out really well.
That's awesome.
I will say it's always the smaller built females that like to do it.
I was gonna say,
but they're probably also the most
smaller
animated
built females.
They're the most animated. They're the most into it. They can really get into the character and stuff like that. I mean, the females in this industry are just amazing. There's plenty of great male actors out there, but some of what I've seen from a lot of these female actors is just insane. So I mean,
we complain less.
there you go. That's good. That's good.
They do.
Yeah.
As a former actor manager, I would get less from my females. I got single moms with multiple kids, and I hear no complaints for them. But the 20-year-old, no kids, no responsibility, cries about everything.
Yep.
No offense for the 20-year-old men out there, but oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you can say that. We get a pretty good combo where we're at. It's not gender specific. It's pretty much everybody sometimes.
It's not that second or third week of October. It just comes at you nonstop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin is just blaming you, Troy. I don't know what for, but he's just blaming you in the comments.
That's.
And I said, well, which Troy? I got two of them.
Let's blame that Troy for once, okay?
Sure.
I get all the blame all the time. I deserve it, but I get it. Let's share the wealth.
You're the one in the middle.
All right, so
yeah, she put me right in the middle.
You're the bullseye.
I'll dodge it. I played dodgeball.
Well, you're actually covering my logo right now. You know, that pretty logo I worked on, you know, for 2 seconds. You know, you're kind of ruining it.
Yeah. I didn't even work on my logo. So, it was Alyssa Schiapani. A lot of people know her. She's an old as not, she's not old by any means, but she's an actor, manager, and actor coach, trainer, and stuff like that. She's been around a while, and we had I put a call out because I just said I'm not. This is going to be a business logo, and I will MS Paint this up if I have to. And so I put a call out on social media, and she came at it. I said, you know, anybody that makes the logo gets, you know, free tickets to the tour. And she's like, well, I'm on the East Coast and you're in Oregon and I'm not going to make it there. So she's like, give it away to somebody else. So I did a giveaway. And, but yeah, she came up with that. And so I've been able to modify it throughout the years to add different state names and stuff like that. And we used to change it up, and it used to be like Texas Territours and Pennsylvania Territours and Northwest Territours. And now I'm just like, you know what? Nope, just Territours. So, but yeah, it's always good to freshen up logos and stuff. And you know, your non-AI generated logo is fantastic. So don't be fucking around with AI stuff, kids. I will call you out on that in 10 seconds flat. I do like that haunt. There was a haunt on Hunter's Hangout like a week or two ago that was constantly putting out, and they were I forget who it was, but they kept putting out AI videos just because people were complaining about the AI videos, and they were just like, oh look, we just did this, and it was I thought it was great because it was like, look, we're doing this as fun. This is like actor training ones and like getting actors to come, you know, work at your haunt. These weren't, you know, out there for the public to see for, you know, advertising the haunt, but they're like, but we can do that too. And it's like a bunch of people were like, you need to use the industry to do these things. And it's like, well, we have videos like that too, but we're also supplementing it with this. And we just love the fact you guys are trolling it. And I go to the bottom of the comments and I just go, this is marketing 101, people. They got you to talk about their haunt for like 5 or 6, 5, 10, 15 days straight because you're complaining about their haunt, but yet their haunt is a Hunter's Hangout over and over and over again for 2 weeks straight. And I'm like, it's viral marketing, and it doesn't matter. You don't necessarily want negative, but I always remember that one billboard. I think it was in North Carolina or South Carolina, where it was like the girl was wrapped in barbed wire, and like the town, there were lots of people who were very offended by the billboard, and that haunt got more business that year than ever before. And sure, they changed the billboard, but they got the attendance boost because of the offended, you know, aspect of it. And so, you know, sure, you don't want to upset everyone, but you know, marketing is to get your name out there and to get people saying your name over and over again. You know, sure, you don't want to be that one haunt. Yep. You know, but yeah.
That's a good question. For you guys, you know, what do you think about, you know, AI coming into the industry? Because I've been seeing a lot of haunted houses use AI for their commercials, also for their social media platforms. What do you guys think of it?
I think it's a lot. I'll go. I think it's a lack of truth in advertising. I think there's uses for AI in a haunt. I think for special effects in the haunt, it's probably okay. But I've never liked even over Photoshop stuff where you're selling on images that they can't possibly see.
Yeah.
You know, that's really my problem with it. It's not the technology. It's not being an old fuddy-duddy, because you could have said the same thing 20 years ago just about anybody having a great copy of Photoshop, you know?
Right.
So it's not about that. It's about a truth in what you're showing, because especially with a show, I think like Crawford and like us, we need to explain to the audience before they get there what they're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And if they go through and they had preconceived notions and we don't fulfill what they thought they were going to get, that's our fault, really. You know, I mean, I've had 30 years of really having a hard time explaining what weirdness we do. So I really want pictures. I really, you know, We don't go crazy even with Photoshop is good for all our lettering and for all our shadows and all that stuff. But I personally think AI for advertising for what we do isn't the way to go.
Yeah, I agree on that. I agree with you. I mean, there's a hunt in our area that just puts out AI videos as their advertising, and it's like, they wanted, like, for instance, they wanted me to cross promote with them, and I was like, nah. You know what I mean? I'm like, I can't. I mean, I just told him, I was like, nah, I don't do that, even though I do. But, it's like you're giving them it's false advertising at the end of the day.
It is.
You know what I mean? I mean, like, we have these living portraits we do in this one section of our house, and it's like we used our actors. We shot our actors in front of a green screen, having them doing different things, and then we used AI to use we wanted like them to be standing by a cabin out in the woods.
Right.
So we used AI as the background.
Yeah.
Okay. On a prop. You know what I'm saying? It was like that. But
so you can kind of make your own like atmosphere thing with your characters. And I think that's what it should be used for.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, I've gotten some stuff that are just, I know it's AI posters. I don't want to give away what it is, but it's a very simple little thing we did. It was like $20. And it's like, I don't think anybody painted this picture. But I also think, well, that's okay, because it's not one of our signature characters. It's not whatever. It's just a thing we have in a corner that looks cool and fine,
Yeah. Yeah, the ones that use it for like their hardcore advertising is just like, you're not going to see, like, if you look at our video, all those characters in that video, you're going to see in the attraction. You're going to see in those scenes. It's like, I mean, you do however you want to do it, but people notice that. I mean, I have so many people come to me, like, if the character that is in the video is out sick or something or not there, they're like, hey man, where was that guy with the big claw on your, in your one scene? I'm like, he wasn't here. He was sick. Sorry. So they notice that stuff. You know what I mean? So
plus you got old 6'7". What do you need to fake something for?
Yeah, I know. Right? Like, are you going to put on her costume, Vic, and be?
Yeah.
You going to put on her costume and go out there?
Oh yeah, I will. Sure, why not? I'll fit right in that thing. Yeah, she's due for a new costume actually. So,
But your images of her prove the point of do the work and make the stuff, and you don't need AI for your advertising. That's all.
I saw the banner poster that you have for this year where it's got the guards on both sides and stuff. And that, I mean, I know I'm going to see that when I go in there. I know that's exactly what I'm going to see. I'm going to get that experience, and it tells me everything I need to know about that haunt. And it doesn't give me any idea that I'm, that this was faked,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we go even as far, like we're even going now because, the prison, if you look at the image of the prison itself, it looks like something out of the, the 30s or 40s. It's kind of gray and dreary. And we would do our images, like the one you showed earlier with them to Sam was one of the ones. Yeah, that one. So it's kind of gray and dreary, the cloudy sky and stuff like that. But we've just found that, in the advertising, if you look at the new picture, it's got more color because color seems to be like really making a comeback, in your videos and your photos and everything. Yeah. So we're even lighting the scenes that way. So even if, you looked at this picture, or not this one necessarily, but some of the other pictures we have, we're starting to light our scenes that way. So you're even seeing even more of what the image is when you come in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't worry, Troy's being quiet because AI built their entire haunt. Everything from the ground up. They just typed into ChatGPT, build a full haunt, and it just it came from Timu.
Even the actors are AI generated.
That's a big screen.
Oh no, not Timu.
It's inflatable from Alibaba.
Yes,
building's fake.
Yep. It's an AI generated,
Well, and it was funny too, because like not this past Trans World, but the Trans World before that, there was AI everywhere. I mean, it was in classes, it was in booths, and then this past this past Trans World, gone. You didn't see like hardly any of it. And I don't know why or whatever, but I just think people got to the point where it's like
The
it might be
criticism.
getting a little overused or whatnot. I'm not sure.
I just think we need to be in the business of giving people real experiences.
Agreed. Yeah.
That's all. And I don't care what theme you do. You can be
Yes.
artsy fartsy, pretty vampires and corsets like me. You can be bloody, dirty circus clowns that just rolled in off the road. You can be any theme of it, but people spend all their time in front of the screens all the time. You know what I mean? They don't know. That's one of our problems. They don't know how to interact with real performers.
Right.
But it's still the experience of this is real. We're asking them to suspend disbelief. We have to then be real.
Sure.
For all of them.
They're coming to you for an escape.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
They escape from
Otherwise, they just
reality.
stay home and watch TV and play video games.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not sure who said it
A
earlier.
living experience.
Yeah, but somebody said I love actors, and I'm the exact same way. It's like, we'll stay on the cutting edge, if you will. Like we'll put some really cool animatronics, but what animatronic can really take over your scene, provide the scare? I love animatronics; they're great, they're perfect for what they're for. But it's like your haunt's got to have actors. It's like, I mean, that's what makes it real. To me, anyways. I'm kind of old school in that. In that sense.
No, animatronics are best, even if it's a $20,000 one. Animatronics are best used when it's a distraction for real people.
Sure.
Probably the only ones that are good are the big
It's a
lungers.
distraction for the actor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, like the lungers that Kevin makes. He's got, but those are actor driven. Almost all of them are actor driven. So the actor is still interacting with you, even though they're using an animatronic puppet to do it. They're still the ones that are pushing it at you at the right time and interacting the right way. The animatronic just goes off when the trigger is done. And you got 7 people in a line. One person sees it. The rest are like, well, I saw that. Or you hear the air go off. That has always been my complaint. And like I have, for the first time ever in my own home haunt, I have an air prop. And I have done the air compressors in the attic. It's surrounded by different bits of foam and all kinds of stuff to try to hide that sound. I've got the air release outside because I will walk through a haunt. I hear that air release and I'm like, here it comes. Watch. There it is.
A couple of years, we actually trained our actors to make the air sound.
There you go.
Stand in a row of mannequins and they would actually go and back into the scene.
Yeah.
Beastcraft makes some really cool props
it.
are just kind of run on electric. Yes. I mean, they're not as, but
they're not fast. But
they do. I would rather see a motor prop than an air prop.
Yeah,
I get it. The air props do awesome, amazing things, and there's definitely places for it. But like Ricky said, as a distraction for the actor,
it's a hydraulic. You hear?
Yeah.
Well, and it's also a case of like Bob Van. You might not know he was VP Productions. His pieces are collectible now. He passed away a long time ago, but he's who kind of taught me how to build stuff. And he built things for theme parks all over the world. So when he was getting into the haunt industry at Transwood, it was like way overkill. but he had a sign in his shop, and he would lecture us all the time, going, "Fasty mean breaky."
Yeah, well,
the more violent and the more insane it is, the more downtime and repair time you're going to have.
We all know what
just like with the flying props and stuff like that. Sooner or later, that corpsulator, that buck figure is going to jump the hell out of that coffin and go across the room.
It only works the best in the dark zone. It'll never work that way again.
Yeah.
That's what I hear in the news.
Right?
Right.
Saw that, did you?
Yeah.
Well, like, remember when the virtual reality, the RV was becoming like a big thing? Or the VRs, not the RV, the VRs.
RVs are still pretty big.
Late.
I have an RV. It's great. I wear VR goggles while I'm driving. That makes it better.
I remember one year at Trans World, somebody was trying to sell the augmented reality.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, that is the absolute worst thing that I don't want. I don't want people with their phones scanning something so a little monster pops out, and there's no actor there. That was like, no. Absolutely not. Take your phone away.
Yeah, the phones. Yeah, I agree. Did you guys, not this past Trans World, the one before, there was a guy there called Chamber Creations that had this like robot and he put a CFX silicone mask over it, and you can program this thing. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that thing was pretty badass. That was probably as close to replacing an actor as I've ever seen. But and it wasn't air; it was all driven on servos, and the mouth moved real good, and the arm. It was pretty killer. It was expensive. Yeah, it was expensive. And he wasn't there last year or this past one, but that's about as close as I've seen, and I was inches away from just like, but it was the first year, and I didn't want to be like, it's gonna have all these problems, and then I'm gonna just get pissed off and be calling the guy every other day, going, this thing doesn't work, Then
they're gonna close, and you're not gonna get the parts for it.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
He's gotten a couple of theme parks to buy it. He started out. He was he built a haunted mansion, like a ride around his pool. We interviewed him years ago on the Haunt Hour, and once I saw that he built a ride around his pool, I was like, so what happens when it goes into the pool? And he's like, well, that's what we're working on right now. Just make sure that nobody goes like this and falls in the pool. But yeah, he started out, and part of it was the servo thing, and that's what got him thinking about making this robot. And yeah, it is expensive. From what I've heard, there was so much research and development that put in it because he didn't want what you're saying would happen. He didn't want to have you come back. It was, you install it, it's ready to go, you can program it, and it should work, as long as a servo motor will work. But yeah, I think the price is what pushed him out of Transworld, is that it's just not, that price point was even too high for that. And it's a very specific need, and like what he showcases it as like your front door person. So it's your rules, it's your your entry story, all of that. Or it was a break. You have a theme break, and you have that is in the room by itself. And so it can be a stall, a stall tactic and things like that. But do you want to spend that kind of money?
That sounds like an IAPA price point, not a Transworld.
Right. And I think that's where he is getting a lot of his customers from, is the theme parks, the giant, the Gaylord hotels, things like that. But yeah, that thing was pretty amazing looking.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah. The guy's really down to earth. He's super, super smart. That guy's got a brain like way too big. but he's a really nice guy. So but yeah.
Yeah, I think Penhurst got one, because I know a friend of mine was on their tech team, and they were that first year. He said he had a couple issues with, I think, the costume getting caught, like in the arms when it was moving, maybe. But it was just minor fixes he had to do to make that work. But I just wanted to I was like, man, I'd love to put this in my church, because I've got this big church scene in the prison chapel, as like my priest, and dress it as a priest, and like just have it standing there just saying random things, random Bible verses or something, just to see how it would work. That was my idea. But the price tag was a little steep, but I just chose better not to keep an actor in there.
Yeah.
Keep it working that way.
Yeah. It has a place for it. And technology will just get a little bit better, and maybe can make different models in the future for a little bit on the cheaper side for haunters and stuff. But you can never replace an actor. I don't care what any haunt owner ever says. Like I said, when the VRs were becoming a big thing, haunt owners, including the one I was working for at the time, was talking about, I'd rather replace the haunt actors with the VR system, to where they just put on the goggles and they just walk through the haunt like that. And I said, well, I could see them running into everything and then getting hurt. So there's lawsuits there. But also, you can't replace the live actors. You can't replace the real thing. Animatronics, yes, are getting better. They're getting cooler. They still have their flaws, but they're getting better and better every year. But they are just a distraction. They are just a wow factor. They're just to fill the scene or fill another scene where it's too small for an actor, or it fits the part. It helps tag team the actor, gives the actor a cue, because a lot of times the animatronic sets off, that gives the actor the cue that there's customers and it's time to scare.
Yeah.
Well, there's a haunt here in Ohio too that, I mean, I don't know how you guys are, what you feel about name dropping or anything, but so I'll keep it quiet. But there's a haunt here in Ohio that like one of their main scenes, I wouldn't say main scenes, but one of their kind of unforgettable scenes is you walk into this room and it's animatronics just everywhere. Like you're walking in, you're like, holy shit. I mean, they're just all around you. And it is, I mean, that's probably the best, I guess, maybe scene I've seen with the animatronic, but there's just so many of them just going off in a big scare factory props. And, it's just like, geez, and you're walking in, but they don't really have anybody scare you in there. So it's, you know what I mean? It's like, it's like you said, a wow factor is like, wow. And you walk in, you kind of like, then you kind of walk out and you're just like, that was nuts. You know what I mean? Because there's just so many, but like, I guess there's always an exception, but still an actor could probably get a good scare in there because everybody's just like,
they're all looking up.
You're so distracted with all the cool stuff.
Underneath. From underneath. Yep.
Yeah.
Going back to what Troy was saying about keeping the phones, like he didn't want anyone to have their phones out, which most haunts don't. There's a haunt here in Fort Worth that right in the middle of the haunt, you're going through, it's multi-level, you're going up all these things. It's a really cool haunt. Halfway through it is like 10 selfie rooms. They've got the upside down room. They've got a Stranger Things room. They have a room full of serial killers. And all it is you can spend as much time as you want in there and you can just take pictures with your friends. They got props you can have. You can be in the scenes, all that kind of stuff. And then when you're done, you go to the next set of the haunt, the next theme or whatever, and you get back in a little queue line or whatever. And so they found that keeps all the phones in the pockets the whole time. Because everybody knows halfway through, we get to take selfies. Of course, the name of the haunt is all over the stuff too. So all their pictures that come out, again, marketing, but everybody gets to have their fun with their phones and then they put them away and they go through the rest of the haunt and the phones don't come out again.
We do that with the Christmas show.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah. In our cemetery, it's just like, we have a character specifically out there to pose with you and to do stuff. And it's not part of the game. Our Christmas show is a no scare show anyway, so kids can come. But we tell them, keep your phones away. There will be a place for you to actually do this.
Yeah, they tell you that at the beginning of this.
You can do it. Yeah, we tell them up front, for that.
Yeah.
And that works the same way. If you appease them, have photo ops at the beginning. And for this show, we have a quick little photo op in the middle and let them go. And they don't abuse the privilege the rest of the time.
I think haunts did a really good job of adding the photo part somewhere in the haunt where you either get your photo taken when you don't realize it or you're actually posing. There's a lot of haunts that will do that picture right as you walk into the haunt. Right. You get the picture taken and then you go through the haunt and it's at the end if you want to buy it. That stops them from trying to take a picture too a little bit.
We do that. We do that as well.
Yeah.
And that's almost kind of like, beating them at their own game. So you let them take their phones out. It's just like the whole, like I've talked to the owner of, Land of Illusions here in Ohio, Factory of Terror, Field of Screams there in Pennsylvania. And they all told me the same thing with alcohol. They're like, the best way we've combated alcohol is by serving it.
Yep.
He goes, all of them have said, we do not have any problems with alcohol because we serve it now. So nobody rolls in here just wasted, and causing problems. And, same thing with the phones. It's like, hey, at some point you're gonna be able to get your phone out, kind of, beat them at their own game. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep. Woods of Terror, Hell's Gate, 13th Floor. They serve alcohol there. They also, some of them also do like the secret bar thing, which is just an extra add-on. And it's a tiny little hole in the wall, closet size, little themed bar. Some of them are bigger, but most of the ones I go to are really small. Those are great experiences to add for the adults and the, older college kids that are, 21 and up, eligible to drink, because it's another money cash grab. But it helps to die down the drunks showing up. And obviously when you make the drinks, you're skimming them. They're not, they're not high percentage alcohol in them or nothing. Right. It's very basic, very average. So you're not getting them wasted. You hire someone with bartending background experience, and hospitality service and stuff like that to do that job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you do. You charge unreasonable prices. I'm talking to haunt owners here, so.
Right. Yeah, we went to Land of Illusions on their opening night, and they had a bar there, and a shot of tequila was $13. You know, those are like that's like concert prices. You know, what I mean?
And that was bottom shelf, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't even
know.
Patron.
I
It wasn't the
didn't
good
get any.
stuff.
I asked somebody who had one, I'm like, how much was that? Like $13. How much was the beer? 12 or 11 or whatever. I was just like, so you know, an average person's going to come in and maybe have one or two drinks,
right,
and then leave. You know,
yeah,
but
because now they're broke.
That's the whole reason.
That's another thing too. You know,
that's the whole reason concerts.
That's another thing too. Charge them a lot of money, so they, you know, they're not buying too many drinks.
And you're making a lot off the, you know, you're making a lot of money.
Yes.
Off
oh yeah, you're making big profit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like the one guy came to our haunt last. What day is it? Today's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, so this would have been Sunday. He came to our haunt, owner of another haunt in Ohio, and I was talking to him about the alcohol thing because I've been trying to kind of get it going, and he's like, "Yeah, we made like $12,000 yesterday, meaning Saturday," and it was just like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah," and he was like, "This is a slow weekend," and I'm just like, "Oh man, it's just crazy to think about."
Yeah.
But before it was all taboo, and now people are just like, "Do it! It solves your alcohol problems." Okay.
Yeah. It's as if haunt owners are becoming
it does seem to work
smarter all the time. You know, it's you know, these.
Yep.
I think a lot of people don't
realize
that this is a business.
Yeah.
And it's not just us or you guys, you know, just deciding one day to put up a haunted house. You guys are all business owners. You all know and understand business sense, and you're all learning from each other as well. And that's, that's the greatest part about this, is that you're all able to talk to each other and learn from each other what is working, what's not working. And nobody's afraid of saying, well, I'm not going to tell you because I don't want you to take my idea. Those type of things are not going to hurt, because you sell alcohol. Land of Illusion's not going to lose customers over it. Everybody wins in that. And it's just, there's a lot of people that just think haunts just appear overnight, and that it's just run by a bunch of ragtag people. And it's like, no, most of them are run by fantastically smart people who are, trying to provide a service, but also trying to provide a profit and employment for people and stuff. Sure,
yeah, I think Troy should have alcohol, because I've always wanted to drink at school the whole time I was in it.
Right?
Last year was the first time we had anybody serving alcohol on the property. We had a local brewery and a winery came out, and it wasn't as popular as we thought it was going to be. I mean, they sold, but the wine, especially the wine guy, like, this is not a drinking crowd, is it? I'm like, I don't know. We've had some people drunk here before, but now the brewery didn't do too bad. Maybe they just didn't want wine. But
right,
yeah, we're not doing it here because they didn't reach out to us. But I don't have problems with drunk people coming. I don't know what it is.
I'm wondering if it's the school theme. Like, it's like they think I'm going to a school, so I can't drink. Where you're going to prison.
They want to
going to prison. I'm going. I'm dead at a funeral home. I'd rather drink, but I'm going to school. Mom's gonna be mad.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. I mean, we all play tricks on their minds, and that could very well be that they're just like, that feels weird to drink in a school.
Depending on
it could be. So you'd always sneak in the bathroom, like back in the day, because I'm an old man. You'd sneak in the bathroom to smoke. You know what I mean? No one's sneaking beers into the locker room and cracking beers open, but
that'd be a great place to have a secret bar. Would be in the school bathroom.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
That's why I said at the
We're
prison,
giving you ideas here, Troy. Write them down.
We can do this really cool thing at the prison where we make Pruno out of the toilets. You know what I mean? And make this prison drink, but we could serve it in
toilet wine.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. Nobody listens to me.
Toilet wine.
That'd be weird.
No, I like the idea. Just do it.
It would be. I'm not drinking anything out of a toilet in school. Prison.
Not prison.
Because I'm in prison. I don't have a lot of choices.
Prison, man. Yep.
I don't know about all that noise.
Oh, it's okay. I find hooch in the light fixtures. I find it in the toilets. You know, I find it in the weirdest of places. They'll do anything to make their own brew alcohol, and then, you know, you got nothing but time, and
Yeah.
Yep.
they get creative. That's why we stopped serving fruit. They don't get fruit anymore, and they're pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got mad at me because I kept taking it. They're like, "Will you quit taking our booze?" And I'm like, this is mine now. It's mine. I find it. It's mine now."
Yep.
Oof.
Yeah.
And then I would tell them, "Hey, we tried that stuff. It sucks. You guys need to learn how to do it right."
Ooh, you drank it?
And they go,
Ugh.
"Did you really drink it? Did you really drink it?" Yeah, and it sucked. You guys need to learn how to brew it right. Putting it up in the light fixture was not a bright idea. This is what you need to do. And they're just looking at me with their jaws dropped.
Yeah.
All right. We are on the 2-hour pass marker here.
Yep.
So shout out to our sponsor, Woods of Terror in Greensboro, North Carolina. Tickets are on sale now at woodsofterror.com. Woods of Terror is open this weekend. This is also going to be the 3 weekend. So they're open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this coming weekend. Also, check out Terror Tours Pittsburgh this coming weekend, featuring Castle Blood. I keep getting mixed up. I'm sorry. On Friday. And Crawford School of Terror Saturday night. And then Blood Prison is open this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Tickets are on sale now. I will leave all the links in below for you guys to get your tickets. I am your host, Chainsaw Sammy. This is the last episode until November 9th. We return live. Stay tuned for more updates. And everyone, happy officially Halloween and stay scary. Bye, guys.
See ya.
See ya.
You have to hit the end broadcast.